Welcome back to Lower Keys Living, everybody. This week we're going to be talking late season lobstering, and I'm going out on the paddleboard. So this is my typical setup. Everybody's seen this before. I've got my mushroom anchor for windy days, paddle, have my lobster measuring tool, got a tickle stick, of course a bucket to put them in, and my gloves and a net. So we get asked all the time, what's the lobstering like late in the season? Are there still lobsters around? This is my favorite time of year. It's beautiful out. So before I was going out, my daughter and I decided to paddle out, scout out my favorite locations. I wanted to see what's out here. And we wanted to get out and just enjoy a beautiful evening on the water and catch a sunset. Of course, when we're out on nights like this, our corgi loves to come along. He loves being out on the paddle boards. He loves hopping back and forth between the paddle boards. So when we're out here, if you're anywhere, you're looking for these ledges. The keys are made up primarily of limestone. And a lot of times the limestone underneath the top will dissolve and implode, creating these ledges. This is prime lobster habitat. This is a spot I frequent often. You can see there's no lobsters in here. Not untypical for this time of year, but lobsters migrate, so the next day there could be some. This is a massive implosion that I frequent. This goes down about 6 feet, and there's just big ledges. It's a big circle out in the middle of the bay. And you see, I'm not going to dive in here. You can see how easy it is to disturb the water. This thing is, the bay is super healthy this time of year. Lots of fish, the cooler water come into the bay at this time of year. But one thing I was doing out here was scouting out, coming across so much PVC pipe that's been dumped in the water. Again, it's illegal to take lobsters from these. It's illegal to dump it, but people do. It makes easy catching habitat. And you can see, because the weeds that are growing on this are facing down, somebody had been in this one and moved this one somewhat recently. And what I am doing when I find all these, and you see quite a bit of this, I mark these on my tablet, my GPS on my tablet. I carry along a sail-proof tablet, which I'll show you in another video. It's waterproof. The things are amazing. And I'll mark all these locations because I'm going to come back and pull all of these pieces out. You can see another one, tons of little tiny lobsters in this one, which is a good sign. I like seeing all these lobsters. I just hate seeing all this dumped PVC. Here's yet another one. This is like an older one. This one is surrounded on all sides by weeds, but lots and lots of tiny lobsters out here. And again, it is illegal to take lobsters from this man-made and in this dumped habitat. You can see there's another little tiny piece here off to the side. And with these, after I marked these on the tablet, after I went out lobstering the next day on my paddleboard, my wife and I took the flats boat out because there's too much of it to load on the paddle boards. And I removed about 25 pieces of PVC pipe from the bay. What I do here is I make sure I tell Fish and Game that I'm going to be out taking PVC pipe out, let them know that I'm out there doing it. Here, this is a relatively new piece. You can see how white this is, not a lot of growth on it. Loads of little lobsters in here. So if you see these, if you're on a boat, pull them out, throw them out. I usually don't pull these out on my boat when I'm lobstering. That way Fish and Game isn't questioning whether I'm moving or removing PVC pipe. So I always call them, let them know, hey, I'm going to be out. I notice pipe and I'm pulling it all out. The other thing people do are drop cinder blocks in to create lobster habitat. Again, illegal. And that right there you saw is a shark tail. He's hanging out underneath this debris. Obviously no lobsters around. The shark has probably eaten them all. That was a nurse shark, which are frequent down here, and they love lobsters. This little channel right in here, not frequented by boats. It's more of a side channel around the outside perimeter of Cudjoe, but one of my favorite spots. Again, you're not allowed to lobster in these just before preseason, the first 5 days of after mini season. But these are where I like lobstering this time of year. And again, you can immediately see a few lobsters. So I drop in here, scouting these out. A really nice sea urchin. Love seeing these. But right away you can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4 lobsters, 5 lobsters right there. There's number 6, there's number 7. And these are all right at the top. When you get down deep, about 10, 12 feet, you get a lot more bigger ones. there's 9, there's 10. It's just crazy packed with lobsters. So I was happy to see this, so knew that right away this is going to be one of the spots I come back to the next day. But just really, really excited to see how many lobsters there are. So to answer your question, yeah, they're a little harder to find some of the bigger keeper ones because of the gauntlet they have to run getting through all the commercial traps that are out, but totally worth coming down. And of course, we just finished up enjoying our sunset out here on our scouting trip. Just a beautiful way to end the day down here in the Florida Keys. So the next day I went out, got these 3 keepers right away, and I got those off that last ledge that I showed you, all decent sized lobsters. And I don't just tear the tails off of these, I make sure I euthanize the lobsters. Science has shown that they feel pain, so I try and euthanize these guys quickly before I rip that tail off, because they say they will stay alive a while after you pull that tail off if you don't euthanize them. So just do that. I let them drain in the sink. The other thing I do is I don't waste any part of the lobster, even though these are small bodies. I freeze these, and I will mash these up into small pieces, add water to that bag, and make a chum block out of it. Because that chum, when I'm using that tends to sink to the bottom and brings in the grouper, the hogfish. Love that on the bottom. So again, definitely, what else are you going to do in March? Come on down, do some lobstering in the Florida Keys. Where else would you rather be during the winter? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Lower Keys Living.